shall Jerusalem be holy.
Then Jerusalem will be holy. Go ahead.
And there shall no strangers pass through her anymore.
All right, let's go on over to Zechariah. Zechariah chapter 14. Zechariah 14, and we're gonna start this off at verse 1 when we get there. See, we proving to you, brothers and sisters, that it's gonna be Jerusalem is gonna be where Jesus Christ ruled from. He's not gonna be ruling from up in heaven. He's not gonna be up in heaven looking down. He's gonna set up a kingdom on this earth that's gonna be in peace for 1,000 years, brothers and sisters. And when we get this peace for 1,000 years, children gonna live to be old men in this kingdom. You know, children gonna be 100 years old. You know what I'm saying? You can read that in Isaiah 65. You know? But at any rate, let's go ahead and Zechariah chapter 14 and pick it up at verse 1.
Chapter 14?
Yeah, Zechariah 14 and 1.
Sorry, brother.
That's alright, bro.
14 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee.
Mm-hmm.
For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle.
Oh, so the Lord, like, I'm going to gather all the nations against Jerusalem to battle. Go ahead.
And the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished, and half of the city shall go forth into captivity.
Mm-hmm.
And the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city.
Go ahead.
Then shall the Lord go forth and fight against those nations, as when he fought in the day of battle.
Skip over to verse 4. Go ahead.
And his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east. And the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof toward the east and
so
toward
for
the west.
those of you that want to say, well, you know, this is up in heaven, notice what we're talking about here. His feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives. He done gave you a specific location on this planet, Earth, which is before Jerusalem on the east side. So when the Lord come back, he come back to the east side of town. Coming to the east side of Jerusalem by the mountain. And in the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof toward the east and toward the south. Go ahead, keep reading.
And there shall be a very great valley, and half of the mountain shall remove toward the north, and half of it toward the south.
All right, skip down to verse 8.
And it shall be in that day that living water shall go out from Jerusalem, half of them toward the former sea, and half of them toward the hinder sea. In summer and in winter shall it be.
So now when our king come back, right, he's saying that the living waters is going to be waters that give you life. His word going to be coming from Jerusalem. Go ahead.
Verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
All the land shall be turned as a plain from Geba to Rimmon.
Did you read verse 9? No, read verse 9.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
And the Lord shall be king over all the earth.
See, you didn't say here the Lord going to be king over all the earth. But we in Jerusalem. We ain't went up to heaven nowhere. This is plain and simple, brothers and sisters. It ain't complicated. It ain't hard. Ain't nobody in heaven. Nobody but the Father, the Son, and the gang of angels. That's it. If a man want to tell you something else, make him prove it to you out this Bible. But keep reading, though. Go ahead.
In that day shall there be one Lord, and his name one.
That's right. Go ahead.
And the land, all the land shall be turned as a plain from Geba to Rimmon, south of Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
And it shall be lifted up and inhabited in her place, from Benjamin's gate unto the place of the first gate, unto the corner gate, and from the tower of Hananiel unto the king's wine press.
Go ahead, keep reading.
And men shall dwell in it, and there shall be no more utter destruction, but Jerusalem shall be safely inhabited.
See, this is one of the mysteries of the Bible. It say men was going to dwell in the sea. When God come back, right, after the heavens dissolve like a scroll, and he come and he take back this earth, and he set up his kingdom in Jerusalem, it's going to be people here. So God going to be setting up a kingdom on this earth, and he going to use those who were resurrected in the first resurrection. He going to use them to rule on this earth. But then at the same time, they're going to be ruling and judges over people, over flesh and blood people. The disciples asked him, or one of the parents or somebody in that sense asked, you know, what is we going to get for losing all that we have in this life? And the Lord told them, he said, y'all was going to be able to rule over the 12 tribes of Israel in his kingdom. See, this is what we, you know, we as people in this lifetime, we are trying to aspire to be in the kingdom of Jesus Christ here on this earth, ruling with him. But if you don't learn the laws and the rules and the regulation to this rulership, how you gonna get a position? How you gonna have a job in Jesus Christ's kingdom and you don't know how you gonna be judging over people and you don't know right from wrong? You don't know what the commandments say. Just think about that now. But go ahead, keep reading, verse 12.
And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord shall smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet.
Yeah.
And their eyes shall consume away in their holes. And their tongue shall consume away in their mouth.
Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass in that day that a great
tongues are going to consume in their mouth. That's nasty. You know, you just imagine your tongue in your mouth and then it just gone. That's nasty. You know what I'm saying? But that's serious. That's serious. This is what he gonna do for those who fought against what? Jerusalem. The kingdom, where the kingdom of heaven gonna be headquartered at. You understand? Where the kingdom of heaven is gonna be, you know, a station, because the king gonna rule out of there. Go ahead, though.
And it shall come to pass in that day that a great tumult from the Lord shall be among them, and they shall lay hold every one on the hand of his neighbor, and his hand shall rise up against the hand of his neighbor. And Judah also shall fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all the heathen round about shall be gathered together, gold and silver and apparel, and in great abundance.
Let's get down to verse 16. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass that every one that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles.
So now, when you get into the kingdom of Jesus, year by year, those who the regular people, they got to come up to Jerusalem and to worship the King and keep the feast days. So for those who don't want to keep the feast days, just recognize they'll still be here in the end. But keep going though.
And it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain. And it shall be that whoso will not come up of, I just read.
Go ahead, verse 18.
And if the family of Egypt go not up, and come not, that have no rain, there shall be the plague, wherewith the Lord will smite the heathen that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. This shall be the punishment of Egypt, and the punishment of all the nations that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles.
Go ahead.
In that day shall there be upon the bells of the horses holiness unto the Lord, and the pots in the Lord's house shall be like the bowls before the altar.
Go ahead.
Yea, every pot in Jerusalem and in Judah shall be holiness unto the Lord of hosts. And all they that sacrifice shall come and take of them, and seethe therein. And in that day shall there be no more the Canaanite in the house of the Lord of hosts.
Let's go over to chapter 2. Zechariah chapter 2. And we're going to pick this up at verse 6 through 13. Go ahead.
Ho, ho, come forth, and flee from the land of the north, saith the Lord. For I have spread you abroad as the four winds of heaven, saith the Lord. Deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon.
So, you know, we done went back a little bit, and the Lord done spread you abroad like the four winds of heaven to the children of Israel. Then he's saying, deliver yourself, O Zion, that dwell with the daughters of Babylon. Go ahead, verse 8.
For thus saith the Lord of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you. For he that toucheth you touches the apple of his eye.
So in verse 7, when he was referring to Zion, he was talking about the people this time. Because sometimes the Lord, you know, he'll call the people and the people of the people and the land. He'll call them the same thing. So he talking to them, he like the children of Israel, you know, they done touch the children of Israel, done touch the apple of his eye, right? Which is us now. Go ahead. The common black man. Go ahead.
For behold, I will shake mine hand upon them, and they shall be a spoil to their servants. And ye shall know that the Lord of hosts hath sent me.
Go ahead.
Sing and rejoice, O daughter of Zion, for lo, I come, and I will dwell in the midst of thee, saith the Lord.
See, the Lord said, I come, and I'm going to dwell in the midst of you. He had been talking to the children of Israel before we got here. He said, but I come, and I'm going to dwell in the midst of you, right? Go ahead, keep reading, verse 11.
And many nations shall be joined to the Lord in that day, and shall be my people, and I will dwell in the midst of thee. And thou shalt know that the Lord of hosts hath sent me unto thee. And the Lord shall inherit Judah his portion in his holy land, and shall choose Jerusalem again.
Go ahead. That's good. Let's go on over to